What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and Sega have announced that there's going to be another console war from Sega and Nintendo. And how they're going to do that is hot on the heels of Nintendo's Mini NES announcement. Sega have a Mini Mega Drive announcement. Now, if you're not familiar with the Mega Drive, which is basically to you US people out there, the Mega Drive in Europe is what you call the Genesis. So it's the same thing, it's just over here it was called a Mega Drive for some reason. Never actually looked into why the name was changed, but you get the idea. So there are a bunch of different comparisons that need to be made, both some in positive and some negative compared to the Mini NES. We'll go over them all in a minute, but the main things I want to note on the actual Mini Mega Drive is that it comes in two versions. So there is a home console version, which it naturally plugs in and connects to your TV. And there's a portable version as well, which has a built-in rechargeable battery and a screen. So there's two different variants of it. Both of them come preloaded with 80 games, the same 80 games. So that's over double the games you're getting on the actual Mini NES. Now, some people might say there's the whole issue with the quantity and quality. So, Nintendo obviously have the quality. Sega have some good quality on there too, but they do have the quantity as well for even some of the lesser titles. They do have a quantity of them for people out there. So the main thing is for the actual Mini Mega Drive home system itself, it comes with two wireless controllers. Now these are the 6-button wireless controllers. So if you're familiar with the Mega Drive or Genesis, it was a 3-button controller, but later on in the life cycle, when the games started requiring more buttons and the Mega Drive kind of was left behind, essentially, they released 6-button controllers to counteract that, basically to bring it up to the SNES version, the SNES equivalent. So these are two wireless 6-button controllers. It actually has two ports on the front of it, so it looks like you can use your actual original controllers on there too, because they do look like the actual front controller ports from the original Mega Drive. Now, one other thing I'll say about this is the Mini NES actually obviously looks like a Mini NES, and it has the same style and all as well. Whereas this Mini Mega Drive does not actually look like the Mega Drive Model 1 or 2. It's just a small little, kind of still looks like a Sega Mega Drive style product, which is obviously the design of the actual unit. And one other thing that is absolutely massive, and this is important in both a good way and a bad way, but we'll get to that in a second, or we'll get to why it's potentially a bad way in a second, is that it actually has a cartridge slot. So any old working Mega Drive games you have or you may buy will actually work on this unit. So that's pretty cool, because the Mini NES doesn't have a working cartridge slot. It just has the 30 preloaded games with no official way to add later games onto the system. Whereas the Mini Mega Drive comes with 80 games pre-installed, an actual working cartridge slot for existing Mega Drive games, and an SD card slot to load on ROMs and stuff later as well. The SD card slot is also present on the handheld version. The cartridge slot is not present on the handheld version, but you get it's completely understandable, because one, you're not going to carry a bunch of cartridges around, and two, the actual physical size of the whole thing just it's not really feasible. So one of the other comparisons that has to be made, and this one is in a negative way to some people at least anyway, but the Mini NES uses a HDMI connection to output digitally to your TV. Now, the Mini Mega Drive actually uses an old RCA, so it's just going to be an analog, as obviously a standard def analog signal. So now 99.9% of you out there, even if you have a HD TV or you don't have an old CRT TV or anything like that, most, if not all, high-def TVs are going to have some form of connectivity with this. Be it if you live here in Europe, you'll probably have a SCART. You might, if you're here in Europe or anywhere else in the world as well, you'll probably have either just a yellow RCA pin or even an S-video connector. So the choices out there are fairly easy to actually get this connected to a TV in some way. Some people may argue the picture quality will suffer a little bit because it's an old analog style signal. Then again, at the same time, these are old analog style games, or low resolution games with 16-bit graphics, so it's a whole other thing. The actual the home console Mega Drive version, it comes with, because this is only announced for Europe at the moment, it comes with a UK 3-pin plug adapter. So it doesn't come with the two circular European plugs. It comes with the one that's used in UK and Ireland, which is the 3-plug adapter. Obviously, there's the 80 preloaded games. Yeah, I'll go over the games now in a second anyway. 2 wireless controllers, the 6-button variants. It's obviously compatible with the actual Sega Mega Drive cartridges. It does come with the AV cable and the AC adapter, which is nice. Now, one thing I will say about this, actually before I go into that real quick, I will mention that the portable version, it comes with a rechargeable battery, which is charged up through USB, and it has a 3.2-inch LCD screen. Wow, I should not try to talk that fast at 7 a.m. But you get the idea of what's actually included with it. I couldn't find the actual specific power of the battery, and it didn't give an actual estimate or even a rough estimate. They just quote hours of play. So, hours could be 2 hours, hours could be 20 hours. We'll find out how it is closer to the actual launch of the product, which, by the way, these launch in October, I should say, October of 2016. I probably should have planned this video out a bit more rather than just trying to record it when I was excited to read it at 7 a.m. Now, in keeping with the interest of Sega and Sonic and Gotta Go Fast, I'm quickly going to rattle off the list of the 80 games that are included, preloaded on both systems. Okay? So it's going to be nice and fast. There's probably going to be like almost no comments about the whole thing, unless something just jumps out at me at the last second. So, here we go. 80 games coming up. Alex the Kid in the Enchanted Castle, Alien Storm, Altered Beast, Arrow Flash, Bonanza Bros, Chakran the Forever Man, Columns 1 and 3, strange, no Columns 2 though, Comic Zone, Crackdown, Decap Attack, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Eastwat City Under Siege, Eternal Champions, Fatal Labyrinth, Flicky, Gain Ground, Golden Axe 1, 2 and 3, Jewel Master, Kid Chameleon, Phantasy Star 2 and 3, Rise Star, Shadow Dancer, Secret of Shinobi, Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic Spinball, Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic 3D Blast. Strange that there's no Sonic 3. I wonder why. Sword of Vermilion, The Ooze, Vector Man 1 and 2, Mortal Kombat 1, 2 and 3, Adventure in the Park, Cross the Road, Jax P, Jesus, Jewel Magic, Curling 2010, Plumbing Contest, Wall Breaking, Bubble Master, Break a Fireline, Mahjong Solitaire, Warehouse Keeper, Chess, Memory, Snake, Air Hockey, Spider, Naval Power, Mr. Balls? Really? Mr. Balls? What a name. Cannon, Fighter Lose, Bottle Taps Race, Bomber, Checker, Hexagonos? It's not hexagons, it's like Hexagonos. Whack-a-Wolf, Mirror, Panic Lift, Black Sheep, Flash Memory, Brain Switch, Mega Brain Switch, Hidden Agenda, Dominant Amber, Hide and Seek, Jura Formula, Lost World Sudoku, Meatloaf Rotation, Maya Mastermind, Skeleton Scale, T-Rex Memory Match, and Yawning Triceratops. So they're the games that come preloaded on both systems. Obviously, there's the expandable SD card slot for your ROMs and stuff on both systems. And if you have the actual home console variant of it, you can use your existing cartridges as well. Now, having said all of that, there is one massive potential issue with this unit. Sega have been working with the company that actually makes these, because unlike the Mini NES is actually made by Nintendo themselves. Sega, well, this is an actual officially licensed Sega product. This is outsourced to a company called AtGames. Now, AtGames have actually been making something similar to this for the last few years. They've actually just been making replica Mega Drive 2s. As far as I remember, they didn't actually have any games built in or anything like that. They were literally just a replica shell with the actual... I'm not sure if it was original guts inside them, because I've heard some bad issues with them. So the main reason why this is potentially a deal-breaking partnership, if you will, is that AtGames emulation software has been known to be very, very questionable. There's some very bad reports and very bad videos out there damning their Mega Drive emulation. Now, it doesn't seem to be completely across the board. But having said that, a lot of people would buy a Mega Drive or one of these preloaded Mega Drives to play big name games like, say, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I'm going to have a link to the video in the description below. I'm not going to post it in here into the actual video, but I'll have the link in the description below. I suggest you check it out, and you can see what I mean when some of the emulation is off. Sometimes it's actual video one, but in the example I'm going to include below, it's some very bad audio emulation, and we all know that audio is part of our nostalgia as well, so that can be a deal breaker for some. I want to see, hopefully we find out more info between now and October when these actually release, if there's going to be some other variant on it, if their emulation software has been changed or upgraded, or maybe they've been supplied the specs of original hardware or something like that, because if it does launch in this style with these issues, there's going to be a fucking shitstorm. Now, having said that, if this does turn out to be a decent product and that actually works and emulates properly, I'll probably buy one. I have a Mega Drive 2 upstairs that still works. I have a bunch of games for it on cartridge, so I would love to be able to use this as well. It'd just have all these games already installed on it, and it would make a great gift for other people, and it's so much easier to just sit down with load all ROMs or something on it if that's what I wanted to do that day or something. You know, you get a small SD card. Mega Drive games are tiny, so you could arguably download. I'm not condoning it for all you people out there who might want to like sue me or something for saying this. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying it is an option. You can put them all on every single game on the SD card, put it into the Mega Drive unit, and you're good to go. I think they have, I think they're called EverDrives usually. I know you can get the cart variants, which are EverDrives, but this kind of cuts out the middleman. So that's basically it. We've gone over the pros and cons as well as the entire game list we've the pros and cons of the unit as well as in comparison to obviously the Mini NES. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to see that companies are actually doing stuff like this. Like I said earlier in the video as well, I know Sega and AtGames have actually been doing something similar like this for a while, but this is a bit different, and it makes me all warm and fuzzy in a nostalgia way to see Nintendo and Sega going at it again in a console hardware war. It's kind of adorable and extremely nostalgic. I was a Nintendo guy back in the day. I never had a NES until recently, but I was a SNES guy, and a couple of my friends had Sega, a couple of my friends had Super Nintendo, one of them even had both, so he was lucky. But you know how it is. If you're my age, if you're in around the 30-year-old mark, maybe a little bit more, maybe a tiny bit less, you'll know exactly how it was, and we'll see how it goes anyway when these launch in October or in the run-up to October. They're currently slated for an EU-only release, or at least there's no announcement at the moment for anything outside Europe. They're going to retail at £50, which is €60-ish, and because of that, because of, say, European prices, well, at least Irish prices, and rip off Ireland, it wouldn't surprise me if they did launch closer to €70 in places over here anyway. So once again, I suggest you check out that emulation issue video, which I'll have linked in the description below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, details in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the rest of the videos in my channel.